Hi everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel, and in this video we'll be making a dress that you saw on the thumbnail. If this looks like something you're interested in watching or learning, please keep on watching this video. Now for the first thing, I have my paper on, as you can see, which is a quarter of the top part of this gown, and it has been cut using the person's measurement. I also have my measurement on this book, just as you can see. I'll be using this paper as an illustration for the top part, which is we're going to be cutting out an off shoulder. Now the first thing we're going to do is measure out our shoulder point and then drop it by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then we'll go on to mark out our chest line. So we'll mark out the neckline as well as the neck depth, and then we'll go on to join all of these points together. Now all of these markings on this paper are just for directives in the cutting of this dress. From here on, we go on to mark out the nipple to nipple measurement of the person, led by 2 on this paper from the top to the bottom. And then after that, we're going to make a straight ruling on it. Then we'll go on to also mark out the shoulder to bust point measurement, under bust, and then the waistline measurement. Now on the under bust to the waistline side, we'll come to the both sides and take out 1 inch in measurement. Then we'll make a ruling and blend it into the bust point measurement, just as you can see me doing with this curve rule. Now after this, we'll go to the top part of this gown and mark out where this dress is supposed to begin from. So for this, I'm going to be using 5 inches. So I'm going to mark out 5 at the top there. Then I go on to the middle part of this dress and I'm going to drop it by 1 extra inch, meaning I'm going to mark out 6 inches because I don't want it to be straight at the top or to measure out the same. Now once I'm done with this, I'm going to join these points together. Now from the point where the straight line meets with the bust point line, I'm going to take out 1 inch also on both sides, just as I did at the bottom. Then I'm going to make it curve into the bust point or into the nipple area. So guys, let me use a marker to highlight what I have drawn, just so it's more obvious for the camera. Go on to cut out what I have trimmed for the middle part of this bust side of the dress. Now once I've done this, I'm going to turn it onto the other side and use it to trim out this other side of this bust part, just so that the top also of this dress can meet at the same point, and I'm not going to have the sides higher or longer than the middle side, even if it's by 1/4 inch. Now for the back part, I had to join my paper together because the one I had was not enough. I'm going to place the front side, which we have cut, onto this back side, and then we're going to cut out the same length. So we're going to have the front and the back sides having the same length. Now once this is done, I'm going to use the front piece to also cut out for the back piece. Now you can also choose to either make the back piece into 2, just like we did for the front, or you can have it just as one, but also mark out a point for the dart at the bottom of this. And then also please don't forget your zipper allowance. As you can see, when we joined the 2 front piece, the remaining space on the side where my hands are is showing the zipper allowance. Now using the front piece of this paper, we're going to cut the back by 1 inch deeper again. Now you can choose to make yours deeper than 1 inch, but I just wanted this person's own to be deeper by 1 inch so that it's not all straight, but then again it's not too revealing. So I'm going to mark out this 1 inch point there. Then I'm going to join it to the side. As you can see where my hand is, I'm going to use the curved side of my ruler to make a joining to that point after I have taken out the armhole area. Now after this, we are going to mark out for the zip bulge, because we don't want the zip to bulge at the back. We are going to cut out some part of the zipper allowance just to ensure that the zipper area is flat to the back. So for this, we're going to make our markings at the waist side, and I'm going to be taking out 1 inch. For my zipper allowance, I had almost 2 inches. So when I take out this 1 inch, I'm going to blend it to the top of this paper, just as you can see. Now for this point, I'm going to make my markings on the dart side for the back, because I'm not going to be splitting into two. So I'm going to take my darts at the waist side and also at the zip side, just so I know where my zip starts from, as well as where I should make my darts for the back. So now guys, we've placed the paper on the fabric and now about to trim. Now you notice that I left a gap here because that's because a half-inch allowance is going to be for this part and a half is going to be for this part. Now at the top of this also is going to be the same thing, and also the same thing for the bottom. So now I'm going to go on to trim. So guys, now this is the front part after it has been cut out on the fabric, and when I open it, this is what it looks like. This is what we have, and then I've also gone on to cut out the back part, and this is what we have. Now for this back side, I'm deciding instead that I'm going to run it using that, so I'm not going to split the back at all. So this is what we have, and I'm going to go on to cut lining for it. So guys, now we want to cut out the bottom of this dress. Now to do this, I'll be using the second half of the paper, which is this, continuing from our waistline, assuming this part here is our waistline. We're going to measure down 9 inches to get the measurement for the hip. Now it depends on the height of the person. You could measure 9 inches or 9.5 or 10 inches depending on how tall this person is, but I'm going to be using 9 inches here, and so I'm going to make a mark on the 9-inch point, which is this. Now I'm going to come here to measure the waistline divided by 4, just so I can also link it with this measurement here. Mark it here, and I'm going to join it to this point. So we should have something like this. Now towards the front part, if you remember, on the places where we drew our dart, remember that we used 4.5 for the dart measurement. So on this point here, we are going to mark that 4.5 also, and we are going to take 4.5 in measurement straight to the bottom of this paper, because we're going to be working with that same 4.5, which is our bust nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. On this side here, we are not going to be making that curve. If you notice the curve where the gathers on the sides of this gown started, we're not going to be making the curve from this hip line, so we're going to be using 6 inches instead. Now we are going to measure down by 6 inches. Now guys, don't also forget that these measurements are subject to allowance, so we're still going to have to add in allowance for these measurements. Now from this point here, we are going to go on to curve it into this point to link it. If you want to use something that is very curved, or you could also use your free hand depending. So we go on to make the linking line here, but this place is so sharp, so we're going to blend it in. We should have something that looks like this. So guys, this is what we'll be working with, and we're going to use this to cut both for the back and the front, because it's going to be the same. For the back, we're just going to add zip allowance on this side just to continue with the rest of the top of this dress. And so these are the pieces we'll be working with. For this one, we're going to go on to divide it to several pieces. So this is what this looks like now that it has been cut. This is the full length of this, and this is what this looks like. So now we're going to sort out the part that is supposed to be here. So now guys, this paper, we are going to split it into 5 places. 5 because I don't want to cut it too much. So I'm taking the full width of this, and this is literally 7.5. So dividing into 5 is going to be 1.5 all through. So I am going to divide this into 5 places, and then with that, I'm just going to cut it into 5 strips. So guys, we're going to number this one. Now I'm just going to cut this into 5 strips. Now this is what we have after this paper has been cut into 5 strips. So I'm going to go on to and place it on the fabric and then spread it out just so we can have enough place to gather. So guys, these strips of paper have been arranged and each of them have about 2 inches distance from each other. As you can see, they have about 2 inches in distance from each other. So I'm just going to go on to trim this, and the moment I trim this, I'm going to use this fabric from these ones that I have spread to cut the one for the second side. So this is what the top part of our gown looks like after it has been sewn. Here's the front and here's the back piece. We'll be putting them together to join them at the sides. So this is what the bottom part of the gown looks like after we've attached the sides together. You notice that we have yet to put in the bottom side of both the left and right together. So now we're going to go on to fix it in using the strips that we have cut. So now this is what the bottom side of the gown looks like, and after we have cut it out with the strips. So now we're going to draw gathers on the top side of this just so that we are able to fix it into where it should be on the gown. Now this is what the bottom part of the gown looks like after we have added one of the side gathers. Now we'll go on to make the gathers for the second side. As you can see, now we have sewn it into a gather, so we're just going to draw the thread strings into a gather just so that we can have the same thing as the other side and also attach it to the bottom of the dress. So guys, this is what the dress looks like after we've joined the top and the bottom parts together, and now we want to go on to cut out the sleeve for this dress. Now this is the only material that I have left, so I'm not going to be really taking a length measurement. I'm just going to use all that I have. But if you still have like extra material, so you can actually take your length, and because it's puff sleeve, the hand is going to fold. You are going to have to increase your length. So let's assume normally the length would have been 6. Because it's puff, you might maybe have to double the length, or depending on how you want your sleeve to look. And then I'm going to split this into 2 for both sleeves. So I'm going to fold the bottom of this, and I'm going to run elastic inside of it. Then I'm going to join the sides and then do the same for the bottom, for the top side, folding and running elastic. But I'm going to cut out some space for the armhole just so I can link it to the dress. So guys, this is the sleeve that has been cut out, and this is the armhole area. Now you can also see that I have folded this, and so inside here I'm going to be running elastic through it, and then the same thing also for the bottom sides. And so this is for both sleeves. So guys, this is one of the sleeves that we have made, and this is what it looks like. Now this is the part of the sleeve that we are going to be joining together, just as you can see. Now we've already attached the second sleeve that was made to the dress, and here's what it looks like. So now we'll go on to attach the other sleeve that I just showed you. So guys, this is what the dress looks like after it has been completed, the sleeves attached and everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and to like this video, and you can also leave a comment.